What a year. 2014 wrapped up.
Happy New Year, and Feliz Navidad, Feliz cumpleaños. That's what comes up on Twitter sometimes when the new year comes in. People say, happy birthday to the United States. I'm so glad you made it to 2015.
Well, it is like that.
How
like,
so?
Because they control the technology and the media of the world, essentially.
Yeah, not that much longer.
Yeah, well, I hope not. But welcome to Paradise Paradox, here in an undisclosed location, mountains of Mexico.
Yep. Welcome. I'm Kurt Robinson.
Aaron Battle.
How's it going?
It's been a big week.
Yeah, it's good. We're out here in this mystery location, having a good time with Aaron's family here, and exploring and enjoying everything that the little town has to offer.
It does throw you a little bit. There's so many things that I'm used to it. I know what I come here for. But seeing everything from your perspective, or seeing you interact with everyone, it means I get to relive it again from a different point of view. It's like enjoying it from more than one perspective.
Yeah, that's nice. Cool.
It's like double enjoying.
It's cool. You know what? Sometimes it throws me off a bit when people are so kind, excessively kind. Like some of your uncles are like, "Oh, I'm so glad to meet you. Come to my house whenever. Bring whoever you want." Like, that level of hospitality blows me away.
Sometimes. It is a little confronting.
Yeah, I don't know how to take it. But, I mean, their intentions are genuine. They're nice people.
I thought it was a family thing when I first saw it.
Yeah.
Like, I never grew up with this. So, traveling and meeting my family.
Yeah.
It's, I thought it was something they extended to family.
Yeah.
But they literally extend their hand out to anyone that turns up, or anyone that's passing through their experience.
Yeah, yeah. Like your uncles, one of your uncles said to me, "Oh, do you mind if I call you brother?" And it's not just saying it like, "Yeah, what's up, bro?" Not like that. It goes a little further than that, I think.
No, it's because they'll go out of their way to do whatever they need to do to help you out.
Yeah.
In any situation where you think they can help you, they will.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing.
You their brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when you told me years ago, you were like, my family, you told me like, my brown family are always like, what can I give you? What can I offer you? And you said your white family is the opposite, like, what can I take from you? What can I brag about to you to extract value from you?
Yeah, it doesn't, I mean, it's never quite black and white like
sure.
that. But here it's so different. I mean, you can't even compare. No, I think it's more cultural. Country-wise,
yeah.
You think where here the individualism just doesn't exist the same way that individualism exists in I guess the first world.
Yeah,
it's completely different. Here it's more whatever I can offer you to help you along your journey, or help you in your life. Anything I can do to help you, I'll do it. Because I need help too. This isn't an easy run. And the fact that I need help means I'm going to help everyone else as much as I can, so they can help me do whatever I need to do, maybe tomorrow, because I don't know when I'm going to be in trouble.
Yeah,
And that extends down to, it's like, when there's food out and when we're eating dinner, you eat. Because you don't know when you're going to eat again.
Which for a long time, I guess, human life was like that. Fortunately, now it's not,
But we don't think about it. And then all of a sudden we're caught with that water and we're thinking, we need to get the shot by the water. Like, I've been drinking ponche all night. I know I need to be hydrated, right?
But it's full of sugar. It's full of sugar. It's not going to hydrate you.
No, well,
it's not Gatorade. That's for sure. Yeah.
No, it's not. But Gatorade do have punch flavor now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, he put it on the stove, heat it up, put a little fruit and cinnamon in it. Drink it up.
You can't tell me it's not delicious.
Put a little tequila in it.
It's good.
Yeah.
You want to run an intro?
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're talking about opting out.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, looking at 2014, it's been a big year and it's gone really fast. A lot of crazy events, a lot of things been going on, a lot of currency talks between like China and Russia, a lot of economic or discrepancies. Nobody really knows how that system works. But I mean, the idea of opting out, it's more common than what you think.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are trying to take themselves off the grid. There are things I was reading about just the other day, like Slab City in the United States. Have you heard much about that place?
No.
No, okay. It's just a little community. Its fixed population, I think, is about 150 people. But lots of people come through there in the year. Some of them are retirees. Some of them are collecting like Social Security, veteran benefits and stuff like that. But some of them just want to quit everything. So it gets hot there. It gets like 50 degrees Celsius in the summer.
What are they doing?
They just like chill there. It used to be if you can chill in 50 degrees, but it used to be a military base.
Yeah.
So it's got all these slabs down there where the camps used to be, tents or military buildings, whatever. And people bring their trailers, their camper vans and stuff like that, and they can get power there, so it's it's kind of civilized, and they just work out their way of living.
So it's like a Walmart car park.
Yeah, it's like a Walmart car park in like 2100, but
No,
in a dystopian world.
No, I watched a documentary, could have been 6 months ago now, but of people that are hanging out in the car parks of Walmart.
Wow.
They travel from Walmart to Walmart because in these car parks there's communities.
Wow.
It's like, think about it, it's a huge open space.
Yeah.
You can park your camper, you can park your car, you live, and Walmart gives you everything you need.
Right.
It's like Walmart is the United Nations now. It's like, here's your survival at a low price.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's pretty nuts.
So I don't think 2100 is that far away.
Yeah, I guess not.
2015, day one.
Is it? But it's kind of sick. It's twisted because it's like this dependency on this huge corporation. Like it's so far away from the free market. It's like that dystopian society which is projected in like leftist Hollywood films sometimes when one corporation takes over the entire world and it's just Walmart providing everything.
Well, yeah, you say it's twisted.
Yeah.
It happened. And it's like a reality now.
Yeah.
But people don't notice. They see it as like it's a shop.
Yeah.
It's not a shop.
You're saying Walmart is a religion or what?
No, well, I'm not saying it's a religion. It's definitely a way of life. Like Walmart offers. You've been to Walmart here in Mexico yet?
I don't think I've ever been to a Walmart in my life.
Okay, well there's a couple of Walmarts not far from where I live.
Yeah.
You go there and you see people that are stocking up. Like you see a lot of people buying bulk at these Walmarts because they do offer pretty well. Like their prices are pretty good. But people that have shops would go there and just buy like a whole shopping trolley full of. Like I saw a guy, he had a whole shopping trolley full of bucanas, like a whiskey.
Right.
So obviously he had
Buccaneer whiskey.
Yeah. Like obviously he's already got something set up, like a business set up where he needed that, and they had a sale on that week. He's gone there and he's bought a whole shopping trolley worth.
Right.
Like, here are your supplies for your life. That's just an example. I mean, it is party season.
So you don't think it was bootlegging alcohol across the border or something like that?
You might have been, I don't know, maybe you had some product very similar and you wanted the bottles. I don't know. But Walmart offers that service.
Yeah.
They offer everything in one spot. And if you've got a big car park and people can rock up and hang out in your car park and trade and have their community, this is your 2100 ID.
Yeah, well, I guess it's it's already the future.
2015, we're in the future. 2000 was the future to me.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm still waiting on those flying carousels, but I think they're coming along, actually. I do a bit, I always check in every couple of months to see how the progress is on flying cars. and it looks pretty good.
I think they're already... Well, the flying cars have been around for a while.
Yeah.
It's just what fuel do you want to run in them?
Well, I don't know. They say some of them that they're working on now are more fuel efficient than you know, a regular car like a Chevy or whatever. Considering you go as the crow flies to your destination.
Yeah, straight line. So
Yeah.
like, there's no curves. We could have made it out here in an hour, not 4.5 and above.
Yeah, that would have been sweet. And we just like land this down in the
Or
countryside.
any one of the paddocks around here. Just don't speak to my cows.
It's a perfect location to land this flying car. Yeah, so should we talk a little bit about why we leave Australia or why we left Australia?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, we want to talk about opting out, which is about understanding the society that you live in. The limitations and what the society, what the grounding of that actually is, and why you'd want to maybe open your eyes to further options on ways of living. You know, for example, I mean, right now we're in the countryside of Mexico, where, well, I mean, I always enjoy myself coming out here, because everything's just so natural and fresh. But I've been a little bit disturbed with the amount of chemtrails I've been noticing.
Yeah, I didn't really put much weight on this until just today, because you've been mentioning it to me for a while, and I see that you post these photos of it on Facebook, and I sort of thought, like you mentioned, it's just, I mean, it seems more or less like a cloud. But today I actually saw the evidence for myself, because the sky was like completely clear, and then every half an hour or so, a plane would shoot by, and it would launch this huge stream right across the sky, like almost from horizon to horizon, at least from where we were in the valley there.
It appears to be a straight line, and it is a white straight line behind it, but within 10-15 minutes afterwards, you see how it's kind of like, it's got like a ball cloud effect, and it spreads out. Then an hour after, it's got an even further spread.
Yeah,
and
it turns
later,
into this wispy...
Yeah, a wispy spider web that's floating over the whole thing until now. It's like you see the clouds, because, I mean, I'm assuming we're like 5,000 feet up. Like we're at least 5,000, maybe 6,000 feet up here.
Yeah.
You can feel the air's thin. And the clouds around this time start dropping. Like I can feel the fog now. It's dropping on us right now. Like we're running out of time. The sun's low, but the clouds are dropping.
We're running out of time.
The end of the world.
Game over, man.
But so, like, as to why I left Australia this time, I thought, I mean, I could see these sort of things coming, like with Tony Abbott getting in, and I could see the government progressively seems to get more and more tyrannical. And in Australia, I mean, if you come to Mexico and live in Mexico for a while, you can tell the comparison. Like, if somebody wants to start a business, they pretty much just set up shop.
But we're talking about why we would opt out, or you left Australia.
Why would someone leave their own country and expatriate, or why someone would just stop using systems that previously that maybe they were relying on, something like Walmart. Maybe they depended more on local businesses, different and various local businesses, something like that.
I mean, even looking back at your own community you grew up in, there's very few people that, well, for myself, that I know that I grew up with, very few friends that I have any relation to, in relation to maybe questioning the system, question that maybe things aren't quite as good as what they should be, or maybe they could be better. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, I'm still playing my game, and you know, I'll still go to work, and I'll still save money for my house or for a new car or whatever, but they never really think about the big picture.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like that. Especially, I mean, if you work a 9 to 5, you're 8 hours at work. Oh, you know, in Australia it's 9 to 5:30. You work 8.5 hours. You're in your office for 8.5 hours. The last thing you want to do
I
when
never
you
did
get home.
8.5 hours.
Really?
Yeah, there's always pressure for more.
Oh, right.
It's like if you're not early, you're late, and if you're not working back, you're not trying hard enough.
Fuck that. That's a bit. I mean, unless you're working for yourself, that's a bit extreme. Or you decide to do that kind of work, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
But if you're working for
anyone that's trying to get value for their work, are working for some kind of bonus or commission scale. Because nobody that actually values themselves will turn up and say, I'm worth $15 an hour for the rest of my life, and I'm going to give you that. Like, the majority of my job has always been commission, because I know that I don't want to earn what everyone else is earning. I want to earn what I'm making.
Yeah.
You know, and when you have that mentality, then you realize, you know, I'm going to turn up and I'm going to work, and I'm going to make it worth my while, because I'm going to get remunerated exactly the way I need to be. But and that's why you're not working 8.5 hours. You're working almost 10 hours, and then you add travel time in on top of that. You know, 12 hours of your day is work related.
Yeah.
And then if you're lucky, you can go home and turn off from work.
Yeah. And the last thing you want to do when you do that is probably think about the state of the world.
Well, I guess the wine economy is good for that. People go home and have dinner and have a wine to try and switch off. But why switch on?
They get home and they think, I'm going to support the alcohol economy.
It's just another trap. It's just another game, another wheel we want to run.
Yeah, like they spend all their time at work focusing on what somebody else wants them to focus on, and then they get home and try to switch off their own consciousness with the alcohol, and I think that happens a lot.
Yeah. And then what else do you have in your head at that point? You're talking to your wife or your partner about how your day went at work. We've been programmed since the 50s to talk about, how was your day, honey?
Yeah, fuck my day. Let's talk about something cool.
Well, my day was at work. Do you really want to know what I did at work? Because I don't want to know what I did at work. No, look, these are all reasons why you'd want to opt out, or why I would hope that you're thinking about other ideas, other reasons why society, your community isn't working quite the way it should be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, that's how I see it.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, talking about like the Australian government, and people in Mexico always ask me, why did you decide to come here? And I tell them, well, one main reason is because with Mexicans, I know when the government oversteps their boundaries, I know the Mexican people have a limit. There's only so much they will take. And they'll, you know, the national anthem goes like Mexicans ready for war or something like that. Have you read
the national anthem here it's so liberal, patriotic, I take mine, the government's got nothing to do with it. Like, if people actually listen to their own national anthem, like Mexican people, they would realize that it's a revolution every day. And these are primary school kids. They're not singing about how great the country is.
Yeah.
They're singing about how great their freedom is, and their country comes second. It's me, it's my family, it's I'm going to make my life, and the country's where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah. But Australian people definitely do not
I'm not going to sing
mentality.
the national
anthem. the Mexican or the Australian one?
Well, either. I mean, I didn't even know the Australian anthem.
I think I know it.
I could sing the first verse. But you wouldn't want me to.
The first verse is all people sing. But people in Australia, this is how I feel, my experience. I mean, not everybody in Australia is like this, but I feel like the Australian people are docile. They'll complain if the government does something, and they'll say they're anti-authoritarian. Like, there's still that, you know, like the unofficial Australian anthem is Waltzing Matilda, which is a song about a thief who gets caught and says, you know, fuck you, fuck the police,
everybody,
and dives into the river and kills himself. Like, that's how much I hate the police. but really, that's another hypocrisy, because people don't actually think like that. They're not willing to put their money where their mouth is in Australia, even though they complain.
Hypocrisy or paradox?
Well, it's a bit of both.
No, but that's the exact reason why you would have a national anthem. to remind everybody what the nation's about. I know there was a campaign years ago. They were talking about changing the Australian national anthem, and people people brought up the idea we should sing Waltz Sing Matilda, because everyone knows that's Australian. Yeah. But nobody knows what it means.
Yeah, or at least I don't know how often they really think about it, because you read the first verse, and you can see it's clearly anti-authoritarian. It has, it's like, why is Ned Kelly such a hero in Australia? Because he was like, fuck the police. That was his whole story.
He had his issues.
Yeah. Well, apparently the guy was falsely accused of something, and the police kept trying to persecute him and his family. At least this is the story from the Kelly side. But of course, all the papers would spin it against him and make him out like a bad guy, a criminal, whatever. So he stood up. At least that's the,
Well, even the Hollywood movie doesn't claim to be such a bad guy.
What, Reckless Kelly?
Well, yeah.
Or the one with Mick Jagger.
No, I'm talking about the one with
Yahoo Serious.
No, with Heath Ledger.
Oh, okay. Actually, I haven't seen it.
No, the latest Ned Kelly. They don't play him out to be the worst guy. They just play him out to be a struggling guy, trying to look after his family, and put it between a hard place and a brick wall. It's like, I don't want to use the same cliches, but he's in a tough spot. Yeah. Australia wasn't exactly a paradise at that point. Yeah. Like, it was still a lot of hard-working people, and his family appeared by the movie to be hounded by the police because they were known to be, troublemakers in that time.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of truth to the police just harassing him. They probably had some reason, but who knows how good the reason was.
Well, easy target. I mean, if he was caught stealing a horse last week and a horse gone missing, well, who are we going to go ask? Yeah. And I guess this is what the media had to play. The media were able to turn up and print out this press that was saying, the Kelly gang so quick. I was like, what else are we going to talk about? Let's talk about those guys that grouped together.
Yeah, the hot issue. Yeah, and of course, so this ties into what we see in the Australian media today, because they're just trying to they make out Muslims to be really bad people, and the Muslims maybe they're probably a bad Muslims who want to kill people, but the Muslims in Australia, really, they're nice people, seriously. I think like 99.999% of Muslims in Australia
I think everyone's nice. Yeah. I haven't come across very many bad people individually.
Yeah, well, that's the thing as well, because people, when they get sucked into a group mentality, they can do crazy things. But like, for example, my friend Josh converted to Islam, and someone on Facebook posted something about death for apostasy, like if you leave Islam, are they going to come after you and try to beat you to death or something like that? And Josh said he was listening to his local imam, and someone had left the mosque, or someone had left Islam, and the people were encouraged to talk to them and say, I think this is a good path for you, but violence was never encouraged. And there was a case, so a few months ago it came up in the papers that about 50 Muslims in Australia had been arrested on for something to do with terrorism, but it turned out about one was charged because the rest, they were just like token arrests. It's just to show that they're doing something.
Well, let's talk about the last terror attack that Australia apparently received.
Well, I shouldn't laugh about it, but it's like, because it was tragic. But so you're talking about the Sydney siege.
How does it even have a name?
Yeah, because if something like that happened just about anywhere in the world, it would just be something that happened. It's not necessarily a big media event. And if you think about, like, 3 people died, including the assailant. But how many people die every day just driving to work? that happens a lot, and that's equally as tragic. So why does this get so much media attention?
Yeah, why does it get so much media attention? Why is it that let's say the example of cars, and people dying on their way to work, and in comparison, why is one death more publicized over another?
Yeah.
Like, does it have to be so extreme?
Yeah.
Like, does it have to be glorified? Does it have to be given a title, a name?
Yeah,
for something?
and I'm sure there are things that happen. Like, I think there are things that happen in my hometown. Like, people get murdered. You know, some husband goes crazy and murders his wife. That stuff happens too, but we don't make it out as some national event.
It is what it is. It's one crazy man.
Yeah, exactly.
That kills a few people and kills himself. Why couldn't it have been one crazy man that kills a few people and kills himself?
Yeah, the Sydney Crazy Man. That's
what it is, opposed to, you know, the Hollywood movie title, Sydney Siege, where all media newspapers come together and start using the same title, the same hashtags, the same, you know, it's all funneled down the same direction, and it's imprinted. It's propaganda.
Yes, it absolutely is. And the other thing I wanted to mention was about the name that they give it, Sydney Siege. You give it this extreme sounding name, but of course the siege, what a siege actually means is to try to capture a building or town or city by cutting off their supply lines and surrounding it. So the people who actually did the siege were the police.
Yeah, we talked about this. It was what the siege actually means.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with what happened.
Yes,
but
it wasn't to do with the criminal who acted. It was to do with the response.
Response.
Yeah. So I make the comparison like, so, you know, instead of calling it 9/11, why don't we call it a rescue and firefighting action? You could call it that. That would make about as much sense.
Depends on how you want to paint it. What happened? What was it?
Yeah.
And how we're going to use it later.
Yeah. Like, how can we use what happened to twist it around as if it was something more extreme than what it actually was, and take advantage of the fact that people don't know the dictionary definition of the word siege.
What does siege actually mean? Because I had to double check. I had to check because I knew I had the idea, but I mean, at that point I realized that when I thought of the word siege, I was thinking of movies that had siege in the title.
Yeah.
Straight away, and all of a sudden I'm thinking of Van Damme and you know what I mean? It's like
Steven Seagal. You mentioned Steven Seagal, Under Siege.
Yeah, Under Siege.
Then like, there was The Siege with Denzel Washington.
Yeah, I'm thinking of action movies.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I see the news and all of a sudden Sydney Siege, and I got a picture of 40, 50 policemen in decked out squat uniforms.
Yeah.
And how they're running through the city and how people are like all looking frantic and upset about something that's happening. It's like, what's actually happening? Or are you just scaring people? Because people get scared.
Yes, especially when you bombard them with these scary things over and over. So and I kind of saw this type of thing coming with, you know, like terrorist witch hunts in Australia. I more or less, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I anticipated this sort of thing happening about a year ago. And these are the kind of reasons that I decided to leave Australia and stay away as much as I can.
You think media was one of the main reasons why you left?
Well, it's not the media, it's what's behind it, because of course the media it has the influence over the public policy, and governments
100%.
can do crazy things. Like 60 years ago in the United States, Roosevelt ordered all Japanese Americans into internment camps, like concentration camps. And I'm not sure why, but nobody really talks about this as much as like Hitler putting Jews in concentration camps. But it happened. And I think a lot of people from the United States are kind of blind to that fact. They just gloss over it.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah. Well, it's not like it's something that's on the front of history books, because it's so nasty, and people like to pretend that there's like this good guy, bad guy narrative, where, you know, the United States government is good and the German government was bad or something like that. But no, it's all this bloody mix. I mean,
it's a mix. It's a mix of people don't actually know who they need to. When people are upset about something, they don't even know who to protest to.
Yeah.
Like people are, I don't like what the government's doing. Let's go to the government office and let's protest about what they're doing.
Yeah,
and
but
the
who
media
controls the government?
Yeah, the media is happily there filming, and now great, we have something to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, let's publicize this. Whether they do it right or not, it's up to them, really, because they have control of the government. They have control over who they're going to advertise, who they're going to put in place, who they're going to announce to the people, and what they're going to say they're doing. Like, all politicians want to do good work because they want to win the crowds. So if the media is there happy to...
Or if they want to get paid and look like they're doing good work, it depends. I mean, some of them have purer intentions than others, but yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying from the point of the media, what I'm going to try and publicise about these people that want to try to get in place. But what do they actually want to do, and what does the media actually want to do? Sometimes aren't exactly the same. We mentioned Ron Paul and the media and their little incident they had where for months during their campaign, Ron Paul wasn't even mentioned. It went 1, 2, 3, 8, 10. You know what I mean? It was like, let's just, we won't even, we're not going to mention how bad they're doing or how well they're doing. We're not even going to mention them. They don't even exist.
Yep. Yeah, just block it out completely. And they've done that, like when Occupy Wall Street was happening, the media just ignored it for about 2 weeks. It's pretty serious. It's a pretty serious lapse of journalistic integrity.
Yeah, but they're all over it. They're always all over it. If people are upset about what's happening in governments, they need to go to the media and rally in front of the media so they don't have to waste fuel in going to drive to find these riots. And like, hey, they're at my front door. Let's talk about this right now. Then they can't hide from it. Then they can't wait 2 weeks to talk about it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because the Sydney siege happened right across the square from the seven channel studio. Like, if you wanted to, like, if we, get into a conspiracy theory for a second, if you wanted to make a really big media event, where's the first place you would go? Exactly where they went. So it's a bit of circumstantial evidence. But
literally across from the back window of their studio. And I still don't know how that anonymous chocolate company got so much publicity.
But do you like that chocolate?
I mean, I like chocolate.
Yeah.
So
some
I'm not
of the products
bad.
are alright. I mean, it's fine Swiss chocolate, but
I'm just saying their name was on the front of every newspaper.
Greasy. Yes.
And we're talking about a company that, I mean, didn't they go broke or bankrupt last year?
Did they?
I thought they were for sale.
I don't know. I never heard that.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought the company was facing bankruptcy.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, old Australian brand or no,
Swiss
brand.
Swiss brand, yeah. Yeah, but I think the point about all this is, I guess, you don't have to bug out. Like, you don't have to necessarily leave your country to stop things affecting you so much, because if you stop using mainstream media, or stop supporting it as much, there are plenty of alternative media sources, and
I just don't think people are aware of it. People aren't asking the questions, what is going on? They're happy to be fed.
Yeah.
And as long as you're fed, you're going to get the same meal every day. That's the issue.
Probably get worse and worse.
Well, you won't even notice. Because it's the same bowl, the same brand, it's the same name.
Yeah.
It's like, are you really going to pay attention to the minor differences in your cereal? So all of a sudden there's less sultanas. But I'm not going to protest about it. You know what I mean? That's just my bad luck. I'm going to continue going in my life and living the system the way it is.
Yeah.
But then when you start hearing other people talk about it, then I would hope you start thinking about what you're actually doing, eating, consuming, what your life is, and then realize that it isn't exactly. It's not yours. I mean, we've found ourselves both here in Mexico now, and it's easy for us to compare. But I don't think I would have known Australia as well if I never had Mexico to compare it to.
Yes. Yeah,
like
absolutely.
People don't know.
All those cultural assumptions that are under the surface that you can't really see until you have some contrast.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it was easy. I mean, I've been traveling for the last 10 years or so. I can say pretty much since I left uni, it was like I need to get out and see the world. And at that point, you begin to realize what is Australia, and it's a very lucky country. Like you don't need
in the nice sense of the phrase,
yeah,
or the bad sense of the phrase.
No, it is. It's very lucky.
I think it's both.
That we don't need to make decisions.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need to wake up and worry about how am I going to feed my family today, because you have your job to go to, or you go winch the Centrelink. It's like we have this system where it's capital, but it's so socialist, right there
yes.
in front of you, and you don't even notice.
Yes.
They don't talk about it.
Yeah, and nobody in the mainstream media would dare say, you know, these are socialist systems that we have in Australia. I don't think they even use the word capitalist and socialist in the mainstream media in Australia.
Why would you? People wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's going a bit too far.
No, I would hope some people would, but my point is, why would you want to opt out from that? I mean, I obviously decided that I don't want to be part of that anymore, and you know, I've taken my actions accordingly. Yeah, and you have as well. Yeah. For me, one of the main reasons that I think it was fast was the economics. The economics of what's perceived as a first world country, and you know the real cost, the real cost of the way we live. Like I didn't care about money, as in I didn't care how much money you make or I make or you know what I can buy. But I'm talking about what the value is of what we're actually doing compared to the economic value or the purchasing power that we receive for what we're doing, and then how that affects everyone else in the world is so unbalanced and just so not. Well, we're not connected.
Australia isn't connected, or we aren't connected.
I mean, all first world countries aren't connected to what we receive. I mean, nothing. We go to the shop. I don't know how many people actually check. Well, it's a product made in India, product made in Peru, product made here in Brazil. Everyone's aware of made in China, #1 brand of the world. But what does that mean for you? Well, you're giving your value away. You know, you go to a job that you might not like, and you're making your wage and your income, your salary, and you're living your life, and you live in a good standard. But everything that you make, you're giving it away to another country,
well,
and their standards aren't. I mean, they're not living the way you're living.
Yeah, but that's part of the reason free trade is good, because you buy something from them, and they get the money from it. And you get something good that's their specialty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd hope that the financial system of the world was legit.
Because it's not always that case, because I mean there are things like even I think Nestle uses slave chocolate from Ghana. And things like that, which is so hard to take account for all those things.
Well, Nestle published that water isn't a human right.
Yeah, but I actually agreed with that. Like, but it depends how you define the word "right." Do you want to get into this? No, because this will be an interesting discussion.
I think we should briefly, so that we know where we're at, and anyone that's interested in a future episode also might know where we're going with our ideas.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. So, do you agree that it's a human right?
I think water naturally shouldn't.
Yeah.
As a human right, water is water.
Yeah.
If it's in your. Oh man, where do we start with this? I just don't think. Okay, if you have a bottle of water and I have a bottle of water, I shouldn't poison your bottle of water. Then say my bottle of water is worth double whatever you thought you paid for yours.
I definitely agree. Unequivocally, I agree with that statement. Yeah.
But as a human right. Well, I mean, it's not something that I can extend to you metaphorically. Like it's a product. It's a thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's the thing, because I'm like the guy who comes by a house and delivers a garrafon of water. He doesn't owe me the water just because I'm a human.
Yeah.
So is it really a right? I would say no.
It's like you living in a desert and not having water. It's like, it's not a right. I mean, I'm not God to choose what you know, what water you supply you have. It's like you chose to live there.
But in the like, if there's a like that extreme case, like if you are walking in the middle of the desert and somebody has water and doesn't give it to you, even though they know you'll probably die without it, I think in that case I don't know if you'd exactly call it a right, but I would say that person is negligent if they don't offer their water to you, and like that might be something close to murder, because that's such an extreme situation.
It's pretty extreme, but it's a good example of how we're traveling through a desert, and maybe you drank all your water already. I've still got my bottle of water.
Yeah, so that's a different. That's an interesting scenario, and that's slightly different. Like, is it in that case? I was wasteful and.
But I mean, talking maybe more closer to the original question.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be allowed to buy the dam, and then put an extortionate price on the water just because people happen to live in that area.
I don't know. That gets into another issue, which is predatory pricing, which is an economic question, which I don't think generally there isn't such thing as predatory pricing, and I guess we can talk about that another time.
Briefly, in a natural market, it wouldn't exist.
Yeah, that's right, because you have competition, or even if you're the only person supplying water, if you charge a high price for it, like say for example, there's a natural disaster, and I'm the only one who took the risk to go over the bridges and canoe through the flooded streets to provide water to somebody, but then I charge $50 for a garrafon or whatever.
Well, then you charge for the water plus service.
Yeah. So, but in that case, I'm still providing the service, and people don't have to buy it from me. So if there is someone else who comes along and starts selling it for $10 a bottle, let them go and buy it. But I've put the risk in. I've taken that journey.
Yep.
And obviously my time is valuable, because I've even risked my life in this case.
Well, you can put whatever price you want on your time and value and risk and all that at that point.
Yeah.
If the price is too high, then obviously you're going to open up area for another competitor to come in and price themselves under that market.
And so they should, yeah.
And it would level out, which is why that wouldn't exist in a free market.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, but then the whole, I think we're getting a bit off track. We're bring it back to opting out.
No, well, I mentioned economics in the financial system because I realized it's not hard to see how money is actually created. And anyone that knows that how money is created, then it's just it's as simple as an expansion of money supply.
Yes. So you're talking about how central banks print money, like government treasuries will borrow the money from a central bank, and the central bank and the treasury will print the money, and they can just print as much as they want.
That's how it starts, but I'm more referring to localized, like smaller banks, like a community bank that gives loans to people, and these loans may go default.
Yeah. So a fractional reserve system.
The fractional reserve system, they're selling accounts of of loans that might have been loaned on the idea of he'll pay me back.
Yeah, they don't actually need to have the money. They just have to have a reserve. So say they have $100, but they can actually loan out $1,000 based on that 100 that they have.
Yeah. So that's one part of opening money supply.
Yeah.
But then you have accounts that are incurring interest, and that interest increases money supply as well, which is completely out of the hands of government.
But that's money that the banks actually pay out of their own funds, isn't? Or maybe it isn't.
Well, okay, I'm the bank. I let you borrow $100.
Yeah.
You say, okay, in the next 10 weeks, I'm going to pay you back $10 each.
Okay.
$10 plus $1 in interest.
Right.
Right. 10% interest over 10 weeks. That $1 had nothing to do with the government, had nothing to do with anyone except the relationship between the bank and the person that borrowed it. So all of a sudden, there is now that 10% per month added to the money supply, which is devalue to everyone else that's playing the game of whatever denomination, whatever currency you're playing with. So then you, to extend the example, you have companies that are buying all these debts.
Yeah.
You have companies
and then you have a global financial crisis.
Well, you have companies that have thousands and thousands of bad debts that incur in 20, 30, 40% interest, increasing the money supply. And on their books, they look great because they're producing so much money. But are they actually making money, or are they actually bringing money back into their system? And they're not. But what they're doing is stealing value from the money of the hard-working people that are actually working.
Yeah. So that's how you can opt out of it. That it gives us an intro on how you can opt out.
That was my reason for opting out, because I realized money just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
In the way you think it does.
In terms of currency, like Australian dollars, American dollars, Japanese yen, Mexican pesos.
It's just a monopoly game. And
it's
the US,
like a bunch of IOUs written on paper and handed between international banks.
Well, so, the US got the green buildings, the red buildings, and then made a gold bank and decided to start trading that out. And that's cool, because why wouldn't you, right? If you had the option, no one else is going to pick you up on it, or are they? I'm saying I did, and now I'm here.
Yeah. So that's why we do things like buy silver and buy gold and buy Bitcoin. Because we're trying to opt out of the traditional
fiat currency
system, and yeah, we're basically just trying to buy our way out of a scam which we've been living in all our lives.
A scam paints it in such a negative manner, doesn't it? It's not all bad. I mean, I know a lot of people are doing well.
We could call it a complex fiduciary system of providing value to those who are in charge, or something.
Well, in one way they are spreading value, but I don't think individually you're going to make your way doing that. I think you're just going to continue playing a game. You're never going to pull yourself out of the game. But that's up to you.
I don't know if I told you this. A few weeks ago, there was this video of the CEO of MasterCard of Southeast Asia, and he's an Australian dude, and he comes in and he talks pretty much a bunch of nonsense for about 10 minutes, saying how Bitcoin is unreliable, who knows who's really making these coins, and on the video there was like 1,200 dislikes and 17 likes.
I would have been one of those 17 if I saw it. Just for the
entertainment.
For the entertainment value. I mean, obviously MasterCard knows what they're up against.
Well, I'm not sure if they do, because you know what happens. Like, if someone confronts something so different, a lot of the times they go into denial. So who knows if they really know what the competition is? But the consumers definitely have an idea, judging by the dislikes on that video.
Definitely. I'm just thinking, this 2014, it's done. 2014 was the year of the Bitcoin.
Well, it's still coming along. PayPal's accepting it, Microsoft's accepting it. You know, big names are getting involved.
When
that's just
PayPal accepts it, then PayPal's a transfer of money. Yeah. So at that point, PayPal does all the exchange. If PayPal accepts it, everyone accepts it. Yeah. Well, pretty much.
Yeah, a lot of people accept it if PayPal accepts it. Yeah, certainly. A lot of online stores, and yeah.
So if PayPal accepts Bitcoin, then everyone accepts Bitcoin. In the fact that you can use PayPal to connect with any website or any account or gift cards.
Well, not every site accepts PayPal, but I mean you can use PayPal to send money to any email address. So yeah, I guess in a roundabout way, yes. Yeah.
Because MasterCard, Visa, they connect to PayPal. PayPal is like the medium, the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think maybe it was the year of Bitcoin, 2014.
Yeah, it's just the world doesn't know it yet.
We don't know, but it'll be in the history books.
We might see, in the history books,
it'll
be like, in 2008, an anonymous man, Satoshi Nakamoto, developed a technology. In 2014, the world decided it was great. And that's how it'll be.
So what does 2015 hold for people that have followed these ideas, kind of track of opting out, or they're only becoming aware of what's actually happening in the world, or their awareness is awakening to maybe I want to do what I want to do. Maybe, I've always wanted to follow that dream, opening a coffee shop. I don't know.
Well, I've read an interesting article like a month ago, and it was from abc.net, or abc.net.au, and the headline had something like, does this spell the end of the nation state? And it was talking about the Estonian virtual resident card. So you pay like €70 and you get this card which grants you some rights of residency. So maybe you can set up your business in Estonia without actually physically being in Estonia. And so that like strikes this blow, or it exposes this chink in the armor of the nation state. Like, maybe governments don't need to be as huge as they are, because things like this can, people are obtaining dual citizenships. They have distributed associations with governments, and this is another.
Yeah. All these ideas make the world go from being a globe to being so far away to a big flat equal plane again.
Yeah. Like we can associate with whoever we want to now by the internet.
Yeah, I can be as close as I want to any company, friends, or communities anywhere in the world, and I can check in and talk to them whenever I want. There's no limitations anymore. Setting up businesses anywhere you want, depending on what benefits you, or just being aware of what a country might offer and what someone else might not. And if you can operate digitally online, why would you? It doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
Physically anymore.
I read another article, I might have mentioned this already, but there was a fellow currently residing in Paraguay, and he decided to become a stateless person. So he renounced his U.S. citizenship, and so now he has no citizenship, no allegiance to any nation, and so it's a bit complex legally.
When you mentioned it to me, I didn't even realize that you could not be a member of. You couldn't not. I mean, can you be a citizen of no country? You can.
Yeah, and like it's kind of funny because in retrospect, I think, why not? I mean, it's obvious. Like, it's your choice, isn't it?
And then you realize,
a free human being.
but then you realize how many people aren't as citizens. Just because they live in a geographical location doesn't mean they belong to that country.
Yeah, they have no allegiance to it.
There's a lot of villages or towns that just. I mean, how many people don't have passports?
Yeah.
That's like the first step of becoming like, I am a citizen of, or prove it. I got a driver's license because I need to be authorized to drive on these roads in this area. I have a passport to show other countries where I come from. But if I don't have a passport, then who am I? You're nobody.
Yeah.
You're you, and everything you are, but you don't need a country to represent you.
But some people tell these stories like about Native Americans just crossing the border between US and Canada and just walking across and say they say, identify yourself, and these people just say, I am me. Isn't it obvious? Yeah.
But maybe there is a gap where there needs to be a global institution to take in these people.
Well, this is a thing about it. We need to wrap up. I
want to wrap up on this idea of being a global citizen.
Because there's a thing. There is in this article, in this interview, the fellow mentioned a part of the UN, like a UN declaration for stateless people, and it mentions all these things. All of the governments that sign this treaty have to abide by, and they have to treat this person as well as they were a citizen. So in a roundabout way, it's something like he's a citizen. that's a kind of complex thing. But
it is a complex thing because we're all expected to ID ourselves and explain who we are.
Yeah, which is a bunch of bullshit, really.
Well, it's limitation. Because as soon as we label something, then we limit it to being that and only that. If I want to be Aaron, a human being of this planet.
You're taking this to another level. You're like, we opted out of governments, we opted out of a fiat currency system. Now we're opting out of reality and identity.
I'm in. I'll do it. I'll see who follows me. I mean, I just go to a mental hospital and find people that do the same thing. They just never thought about it as well to bring their documentation.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I came from this time, dimension, universe. But to wrap it up, I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying myself thinking of these ideas, challenging these constitutions, these institutions, these ideas being placed by other people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm equally a person. I should be able to, you know, voice my own ideas and decide to be where I want to be in the society that I want to be involved in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it's business or family, doesn't matter.
That's what it's all about, like choosing what you want to do instead of being influenced by, you know, an accident of birth or something that somebody pushed on you for their own manipulative purposes or something.
Knowing that you have a choice.
Yeah.
Choose.
Yeah.
Not just because I was born into a country, I'm a citizen of that. I don't know, maybe I don't like that.
Yeah.
Tell me what you like and what you don't like. Oh, at least tell yourself.
Yeah. Let's hear it. Cool. So, my name's Kurt Robinson.
Aaron Battle, another episode of Paradigm Paradox.
Paradise Paradox. The Paradise Paradox.
I guess we've been talking a lot of paradigms these last episodes.
Yes. So hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Trouble in the Bubble.
At BattleAZ.
Press like, press comment, press subscribe. Have a good one. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Feliz Año Nuevo.
Feliz Año Nuevo.